So why don't we open it up for questions? Tom Switzer.
We have one right here from Ed Dickens of the AFSA staff. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, I just wanted to follow up on this issue of how increasingly in the global economy the national color of corporations is increasingly gray. They don't really have a national identity necessarily, and what that does to traditional measures like balance of trade and whether you're talking about GDP or the old GNP and all these things. What new innovative measures are there that are being used, and are they being developed, and do they work? That really help policymakers, particularly politicians, let's say in the Congress or something, who don't necessarily understand these things very well when they're making policy about how do we measure, keep score, in this international trade environment.
Al, you're the real economist up here.
Well, I think it's both harder and easier than we sometimes expect. I mean, as criticized as GNP or GDP is, it's still the best measure I know of, the output of goods and services, and it's one way of keeping score on a national basis. Secondly, I do think that by the time you net everything out, you can get pretty good statistics on how much you're exporting compared to how much you're importing, and that certainly gives you a good indication of how, as a nation, you're doing in terms of export-import balance. And third, I think, just to go to the advocacy points that Chuck and I have touched on earlier, you can get wrapped around the axle trying to decide who is us. But I do think even ambassadors, if they try, can come up with a reasonable judgment most of the time that here's a company that it may have a different headquarters outside the United States, but most of its product is coming from such and such a plants in the United States. It's employing this many workers, and seems to me as an ambassador that it's worth helping them.
We have an interest here.
Yeah, we have an interest here, and in certain other cases it may be a U.S. U.S.-based company, but all the stuff is coming from some third world country. I mean, so is it complicated? Yes. Is it so complicated we can't figure our way through? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's more a matter of outlook. I mean, I'm not sure we're on the verge of new measurement tools, but I think we and our political masters need to have a more sophisticated understanding about how things work in today's global economy, and be able to look at the data and deal with them in today's reality, not an old mercantilist kind of 18th century point of view.